Hi everybody, my name is Hailey Mewborn and this is my article review presentation. So I'm discussing the article titled The Importance of Sensory Play in a Child's Development. This was published this year in June by Miss Allison Bruner. So to summarize the article, it starts by talking about how children, like when we think of like early education, we're like, oh, books, learning letters, learning numbers, learning colors. But it talked about how the key to really understanding how a child learns is through their senses. Smell, taste, touch, etc. Just they learn best through that, and that is really the key to unlocking play for them. So next they used an example of a place called Little Sprouts Play Cafe. It is up in Wisconsin and it kind of hosts little classes for babies and younger children to get a sensory play experience that's also like a classroom. It discussed how they were, quote, sneaking learning into the activities because the children are just having fun. They didn't know they were learning. So they also went on to discuss one of their favorite sensory play methods was Play-Doh, because you can feel it, you can mold it. It's really easy to make patterns out of. Kids can roll their car over it, make tire tracks. They can poke it with a fork to make dots. They also like to develop like those fine motor skills while doing it, because that is also very important. If we want to like sneak in development for the mind, might as well sneak in development for the fine motor skills. Then they went on to discuss how you can do sensory play at home. So once again, you could use Play-Doh, or you could do something that's like edible, like you could do a bowl of rice. They also mentioned dry ice because it's smoky. They can play with it and have fun like that. And they also discussed making sensory bins. So sensory bins, you can fill it with whatever. I've seen sensory bins made with shredded paper. They recommended using something that children could maybe dig with, like if you want to hide dinosaur bones and learn about dinosaurs, or just something they can like dig, shovel in, very easy like that. So next in the article, they interviewed a mother of two boys, one toddler age and one little more baby, and she said how sensory play was a game changer for her kids because she saw them being able to apply what they were learning into the real world, and like they gained like problem solving skills because of that. They were able to like use that application and just really help them in that way. So another reason she liked it was because it made her kids less technology reliant. So at home, she didn't have to give them a tablet for hours or turn on a TV with a show, and just they may be doing an educational game on the tablet, but they would not be, fully engaging and getting all the benefits that sensory play has. And so she discussed how like she likes it's also very different. You can do so many different things with sensory play, and she just could kind of set one up that she learned somewhere else, find it on the internet, and she could just kind of take away the tablet for a little bit, and it definitely made a difference for her. So the only downside that the article discussed was that sensory play can be very messy. So definitely if you are doing this at home, they recommend something a little less messy, a little easier, because it can get very messy. It could be go outside and go into the mud and see what you can learn in the mud, and that is not always the most clean activity. So that was the only real downside they spoke about. So in terms of usefulness, I'm a preschool teacher and after school teacher at the Willard Price Lab School. And so I'm working with kids after they're done with their school day. This is kind of playtime, but I do want to still engage them, and I try to think of ways to do that. And so, maybe going over and using, I think I could utilize Play-Doh a lot more to maybe help them with their letters, because my kids are right now learning how to like spell their name. Be like, oh, could you maybe like roll this into a snake and then put in how you put an A or an H? Just maybe use that as a way to kind of help them. That's how I think I kind of changed some of my teaching strategies. And then also in the article, it discussed how children should be able to like play at their own pace. And so like we don't want to like push a child to do something if they're like not ready for it, because then they're not learning, because the benefit of sensory play is that it's kind of like self-directed and independent. And so I kind of just like have one kid come over and he's like writing his name and the next girl doesn't know how to. So it's definitely something that reading this article kind of made me realize. I'm like, oh, like even though they're all the same age and I see them playing with the same toys, they are getting different things out of these toys, and some kids just develop differently. And so we can really design sensory play to kind of like help a specific child, because it can really be so diverse and fit to whatever they need. So next, my critiques about the article. I think in terms of like title and everything, the article is very well like named. It is just very true. It talks about what it's going to talk about. Next, I would have gone a little more into like how the children are like prepared for the world and apply. I maybe would have given like more examples, like something simple I thought of already. I'm like, yeah, you know, like when a children is like doing something and they like turn on a light to go into the sensory play area, they're like, oh, that turned on because of that. Just simple like connections. They're like, oh, that's why that works. I wish they would have gone a little more into that. And then I wish they would have given more specific examples for the mother on why sensory play was a game changer for her kids. I wish they would have talked about if it helped them with behavioral issues or anything like that, instead of just saying, you know, it helped them apply. What did you see they could do after that they weren't doing before? But overall, I really enjoyed the article. It was very true and made good connections, and it had a very positive outlook on sensory play, which I think is very important for this work. Thank you.